Peace, peace, peace. Okay, everyone, this is the holder speaking, and this is in regards to Skylore Online MMORPG 2.0 update. And today we're going to discuss only the new stuff. I've already made a DPS video before for Alchemist. Yeah, this is about the Alchemist class and the new DPS skills after the 2.0 update. Okay, so I've already discussed all the basic stuff that you know of already in the other video. So just go back and watch that, and I'll explain each thing in detail. So I'm not going to go over that. I'm only going over these three new active skills and the two passives, two new passives. Okay, so let's get into it. Acid blend. Okay, acid blend is pretty cool. As you can see the animation, bam, you want your enemies to be inside of that effect. Looks pretty good, right? Okay. So now, Acid Blend has a 13.1 second cooldown. It is an instant spell, probably like a half a second to get it to its place, whatever. All right, so target's area, you got your range, 3 meter radius or whatnot. Okay, so we know ability type is spells. We're talking spell damage, right? Okay, cool. All right, so it deals a certain amount of magic damage. It's scaled based on your effective level. So here at the Fox Tavern in Eco City, which is 5, which is why you see 93.3 magic damage, right? Every second for 5 seconds to all enemies in the target area. Okay, 5 seconds. So 5 from 13, we have 8.1. So 8.1 seconds of downtime. Keep that in mind. If the target is affected by burn, the damage is increased by 10%. Cool beans. Consumes 1 stack of Seal of Strength to reduce your next cooldown by 30%. Not bad. Okay, not bad at all. Let's see here. So by 30%, you can probably knock off like 4 seconds. So it'll be 9 seconds. And it lasts for 5 seconds, which puts you at 4 seconds of downtime. Not bad, but that's for the next cast. But it consumes the Seal of Strength to do so, right? So next we have Corruption. Corruption, when used, applies Hex to all enemies in the area of effect for 5 seconds. Okay? See what Hex does, negative effect reduces resistance by 20%. Stacking this effect increases duration. Pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Loving it, right? Okay, so that's that ability. Acid Blend. Keep in mind, it gives Hex. We'll bring that back up in a second. Now, Nitric Flask. 12.3 second cooldown. Let me see all the basics. Instant, yeah, spell. Okay, yeah. Okay, applies Frostbite times 2 for 6 seconds. I'm sorry, for 4 seconds. And freezing for 1.5 seconds. Okay, yeah, I said 6 seconds because where the heck is it? Consumes one. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. And gives freezing for 1.5 seconds to the target and all enemies within 3 meters. Okay. Allies in the area also receive defense for 6 seconds, which gives it a 6.3 second downtime. Okay, cool. So consumes 1 stack of Seal of Strength to increase the duration of Frostbite by 2 seconds. There's that 2 seconds for Frostbite from 4 plus 2. That's 6 seconds. 6 seconds of downtime. So we're just talking about half the actual cooldown itself. That's not doing anything. That's awesome. Okay. Increase the duration of Frostbite. Okay. Which deals damage every second. If the target stays with steel for 4 seconds, a 10% chance of applying freeze. We're not worried about freeze unless we're talking about PvP, player versus player. Okay, so that's extra 2 seconds, right? For frostbite, whatever, freezing is extra for 1.5 seconds. Okay, cool. Does not affect the durations granted by cryogenesis. Look down. All right, which is the one of the 2 new options for the 3rd column. Cryogenesis applies an additional stack of frostbite for 6 seconds. An additional stack? You mean aside from the times 2? So we're talking times 3? Awesome. If the target is affected by Hex, oh, there's Hex again, another stack of Frostbite is applied for 6 seconds. Stop the madness. So that's why I made the genius move of picking Corruption when you use applies Hex to all enemies in the target area for 5 seconds. Awesome. That's why I went with that. Alright. Now for PvP, you have the option of using Silence. I mean, that's fine. But that's not killing them. Okay. So, yeah. Alright. That's what we're looking at with Hex. So, it already gives +2. Cryogenesis applies another stack of Frostbite. And then another stack of Frostbite. So we're talking ×4 for 6 seconds. This is beautiful, guys. It's absolutely amazing. So, all right, so that's Nitro Flash, right? So we got Acid Blend and Nitro Flash together. Mwah! Awesome. Here's another ability, which replaces Elixir of Life. So now we're getting into Circle of Ancient Power. Increases your damage. Sorry about that. Increases your damage. Okay, well, first off, the cooldown is 34.4 seconds. Of course, it's long as hell. Cast time 1 second, target self, ability type spell, whatever, right? Okay, so increases your damage by 20% and grants haste and seal of strength ×2 while active. Cool, cool. All right. Oh, by the way, seal of strength does increase your power of your abilities. In case I didn't say that earlier, we know haste increases movement by 40%, right? Okay, cool. Passive. Using a level appropriate healing potion grants might for 2 seconds. Also, the new thing with healing potions, you also get haste. Oh, yes, yes, we get haste every time we use a potion, not just the ones in potion making, potions, period. Love that's level appropriate. Level appropriate. Okay, not the cheap potion, the expensive one, right? You get an extra boost of haste, FYI. Okay, so duration and damage scale with resonance. All right. Increases the duration of Circle of Ancient Power by 24.99%. That is depending on your resonance attribute. So based on mine, which I think is 399, that's what I get. All right. Increases power of some of your other abilities. All right. So yeah. And party members. So again, I'll read it again. You gain an additional stack of Seal of Strength, and party members within 5 meters receive 5 ×2 might. I'm sorry. Receive might times. I said 5 ×2. Receive might ×2 for 6 seconds. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. No, you know that might stacks up to 10 times as well, right? Giving you 5% total. Each stack gives 5%. Okay, cool. So we're talking 10% extra damage for 6 seconds. Okay, not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, so that's power release versus ancestral energy. Every 3 seconds applies weakness and vulnerability to all enemies within 5 meters for 6 seconds. I'm not exactly standing on top of the boss unless you're in a elite guild. All right, yeah, situational. Instead, I decided to go ahead and get power unleashed. I think that's a little bit better for DPS, in my opinion. Even though vulnerability does increase a little bit, it's like an opposite of might, except it's on the boss. Okay, so yeah, all depends on what kind of game plan you got going on. I went with Power Unleashed. Okay, that was just my choice. Now for passives, passives are weak. They're not in game quality. They're more early game, early to mid game. All right, so you have reinforced formula, increases attack speed and reduces cooldowns by up to 15% for you and your party members scaling with resonance. This effect does not stack. Okay, so although synthesis mastery increases damage from frostbite and burn by up to 15%, up to 50%, scaling with resonance. Keep in mind, this one also says up to 15%. Keep that in mind. So why is it not good enough to replace Forbidden Component? Aside from just looking at the numbers like plus 191, plus 108 mastery, plus 116 mastery. But why? Let's read here because we're nerds, right? All damage you deal is increased by 20%. That's fixed. Not up to 20%, by 20%. All the damage you deal is increased by 20%. But the damage you receive is increased by 15%. I went with Forbidden Component. It just wins, guys. It wins. And of course, none of this new stuff is going to replace Alchemist Revenge for obvious reasons, and it's not going to replace Arceus for obvious reasons. I've already explained that in the other video. Anyways, that's the only thing, guys. That's it. You can use the same ordeal for PvP if you want. If you really want silence, you can go ahead and get silence. All right, just your choice. All right. Now the only difference is now this setup actually covers. I'm sorry. This setup covers um, Alchemist DPS for questing, farming, and PvP. You can use the same setup for PvP. Okay, same setup if you want. Now for World PK player kill, World PK, you might want to switch out. Oh, this is difficult. It's really difficult. It depends on who's with you. But you might want to switch out Cryogenesis for freezing bind. Applies weakness ×2 and and freeze to all enemies in the area, so they move. For 6 seconds and removes haste from them. Not bad. We're trying to get up to them, right? All right. So it's just something to think about. Something to think about. Play with it if you want, right? Okay. So that's pretty much it. Oh, now if you're going to do raid bosses, I would make that quick change, just like that. Distortion seal over unstable mixture. All right. I've already run over distortion seal in the other video. By all means, go watch it, and I'll discuss all the other stuff, basic stuff, right? Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. Just keeping this video as short as I can. All right. So yeah, if you got any questions or comments, by all means, questions, whatever, just go ahead and know. It's just something you want to say. Leave a comment. Please leave a comment. Feel free to subscribe to my channel for any other future videos I put up in regards to an alchemist or other classes. Okay, that's about it. I'm trying to think anything else. Shout out to my guild members of Havoc, also Ninja Baranzan, our academy, and our early Asian guild, Log Horizon. All right. Thanks and happy gaming.